All right. So, good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Key, and I would like to welcome you to my space, a place where people have real conversations.
Straight up.
Straight up. You know how we do? Whether you agree, disagree, or fall somewhere in between, pull up a seat, pour your favorite drink, and let's have real conversations with me, your girl, Key.
Yeah.
So, some guy
What's cracking?
this week,
By the
what
way,
we
by the
talking
way,
about?
I'm
Hmm?
some guy 125.
Some guy, 125.
What are we talking about? You the
What
host.
we
You the
talk
host.
about? So tonight we're gonna dive into a question that can make a lot of people uncomfortable.
hmm
Are we really as self aware as we think we are, or do we just lack accountability when things, we don't see things the same, or we don't see things from other people's perspective? How do we take accountability, or do we just lack self aware so we can't take accountability when you're not aware of your actions?
That's a good one. I think, me personally, I think everybody's to a varying degree is self aware, but like for the most part, when it comes to, I think nowadays, when it comes to most things, I think a lot of people just aren't self aware, like about their behavior. I think people have severe like blind spot bias, meaning like they can point out flaws in other people, but they can't see a lot of times even those same flaws within themselves. So
I
that's
agree.
just it with my experience. Yeah.
Agree to a degree. And here's why. I think for myself, I'm gonna speak for myself, right? So for
Mhm.
myself, sometimes I just want people to see things my way because it's just the way I think. Don't be laughing. It's just
Mhm.
the way I think, right? And I think sometimes my way of thinking is just the right way of thinking because it just makes sense.
Mhm.
It makes sense to everybody. People just don't like to say it makes sense, but it makes sense to everybody. They just don't want to say it. But I will say that where I lack accountability, I know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it and why I'm doing it. I am very aware of that. So that's the self aware part. I just don't like to be wrong. So for me, it takes me a moment to kind of reprocess the whole thing and what happened. And then I can come back to it and say, like, dang, I was wrong. But in that moment, I just feel like what I said is right. And that's just what it is. Hey, Quay, you made it. You made it. So I'm gonna just fill you in, Quay. Thank you for joining. So we're talking about self-awareness versus accountability. Do people have self-aware? Are they self-aware of their actions and the things they do? And is that part of taking accountability, or is it that people have self awareness, but they just don't know how to take accountability? So that's the topic for tonight. And I was just explaining to some guy, for me, it's hard for me to take accountability initially because I just feel like what I'm saying is right. And I don't hear nothing else or see nothing else. But I will say that when I go reprocess the conversation or what took place, I can come back and say, I apologize. I realize your point of view and I see what you were talking about. But in that moment, no. So I like accountability sometimes. I like the fact that I am wrong. I like the fact that I don't people don't have to think like me, right? Everybody don't have to have the same thought process. The way I handle something may not be the way you handle something. So there's not really a right or wrong thing. It's just a matter of perception and um how it works for your life.
Hey, all right. I want to revisit something you said, but first, like, hey, Clay, what do you think about that? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
Uh, I'm gonna keep listening to y'all. I feel like accountability is it only comes when you realize you're wrong about something. I mean, in the moment, if you're having a disagreement, you can't be accountable for something if you don't feel like you done did anything wrong. So if I ain't wrong, what am I taking accountability for?
Yeah, yeah. All right, for sure. I that brings me something that somebody just said. Like, I heard somebody else tell me they were like, you know, when it comes to like he this person doesn't believe that we can really evaluate our own behavior
Hmm.
or our own beliefs because he's like, whatever reasons you act in a certain way, or wherever like you believe something, you have your reasons to do it. And you, because you have your reasons, that's why you're doing it. And because of that, you can't really evaluate yourself. So that evaluation has to come externally. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, that's a good point, because it's like, you know, if I didn't believe in what I was doing, then I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Or if I didn't feel my reasons were good. So how can I be a good judge if I'm doing something like that's wrong or something? How could I really be a good judge of my actions if I'm doing it and I'm justifying my own actions through my own like reasoning? So I was like, I thought that was really interesting. But I want to ask you a question. Why do you think you have that need to be always right?
Well, I don't I don't really think it's a need to always be right, but I think that when I've listened to the situation, I see the patterns. I mean, to me, it's just what it is. So, and I guess it go back to it's my right. So in my mind, I'm like, this didn't work for you. That doesn't make sense. So where am I wrong at? But then I go back and think, well, that's how they work, right? That's how they operate their lives. So it may work for their lives, but in the bigger picture, looking at the bigger picture, I just feel like that's just not the right way to do it. And I know it's not actual factual. There's no right or wrong in real life because everybody do what works for them. But for me, I just be like, let's make it make sense. So I don't think I have to be right all the time, but probably most of the time. And I'm working on that though. I'm working on that because most of the time I do feel like I need to be right.
Give me some scenarios and examples of what you mean.
I can give an example. So, for example, when I have friends or family that has been dating a person, and we spoke about certain things. You spoke about your trial and error in the relationship or in the dating phase, and it's like a repetitive thing. For me, I'm going to be like, that's not making sense. They're not doing this. They're not showing up like this. So, what are you really doing? Why are you there? And then, of course, they're going to pick out all the things that they like about this person and how this person made them feel. And for me, I'm like, yeah, but that's not enough to be okay with X, Y, Z. And so then I'm standing strong on it. My emotions are high about it because I care about you. So then now we're arguing about your life and what's working for your life, but you're sharing it with me, and I'm passionate about how somebody's treating you, and I don't think this is right. So that's an example. Like it's that happens a lot with me, with my friends, with my family. It happens a lot. So then I come back and say, I can come back and say, I apologize, or tell me why. Because I guess for me, I need to understand. Because maybe I just don't have the same understanding as you. And so when you break it down to me, and then that's when I can realize, like, okay, well that just worked for you. So I can't project what works for me onto you, even though I feel like I do. You should want somebody like this because that's the normal thing, but maybe it's not normal for you, or you just handle it different. So that's one of my examples.
All right. Do you feel like, a lot of times we might make misdiagnose things? Do you feel like more like that's a need to be right or a need to be accurate?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. Is that a need to be right or a need to be accurate? Right. Your point is not always accurate. So, right. My sister said right.
Like,
And
because
she's
I
one,
used
she's
to
one
do
of
that.
the people that I've done it to before,
I
several
used to do
times.
the same thing. So like that's probably why we get along so much. I used to do the same thing, but I kind of had to like I told you in like the one podcast, like when I saw that one video and that woman was just like, you know, people will listen to you, but you gotta kind of get them in the right place to listen to you.
Hmm.
And she used that example, like if you want to get intimate with your woman, you don't just walk up and try to like, do it with her.
Right,
You get her in the mood to receive you. And
right.
so she was like, people sometimes got to be in the mood to receive what you're saying, and if they not, you just wasting your time. So it was like, that just, I don't know, that just clicked the light bulb with me. And like, I just like adjusted the way I do it. And like, I feel like I'm at peace a little bit more now that I do that. You know what I mean? Because I think, like I said, I think going back to the topic, I think people do kind of lack accountability, and I think it's wrong. But you you do got to accept people for who they are, because there's still something I lack. There's still a lot of things I lack.
Mm-hmm.
And, nobody's gonna be perfect, so you just got to kind of like realize that about them, and just sort of like accept that about them and move on. You know what I mean? Because maybe they will learn
Yeah.
accountability, but maybe they won't. But that's on them, and ultimately their behavior is going to affect them. But I do think like lacking accountability or lacking like self-reflection, especially when it comes to relationships, really stops a lot of people from having like good relationships. Like I said, I've been married for 17 years, and if I wasn't able to step out of my frame of reference and see things from my wife's point of view, we wouldn't have been married for that long. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of doing that in a situation, and not like, you know, not always trying to be right or trying to be accurate, but trying to get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes like getting it right means that maybe my ideas or maybe the way I see it ain't the way it is. It's just the way I see it.
That's the way you
So
see it.
it if I didn't learn, because everything's a skill set. We look at like a lot of the in my opinion, we look at a lot of like failures in relationships and like why people can't connect anymore, and it's just a skill set issue, because listening's a skill set. All that is a skill that you learn, and people just don't have it. And stepping out of your frame of reference is a skill too, that your mind, like I said, your mind's a muscle that you work out. So, you know, and if a lot of people don't work it out, you know what I mean? And if we don't learn these skills, then we can't be successful in relationships.
I agree. I agree. I'm gonna shift a little bit, and it's probably gonna a little roughen the feathers, but I'm gonna just do it. Do
What's
you think Quay and some guys, do you think it's a gender specific thing when it comes to accountability? Like, do you believe that women lack accountability more than men, or vice versa? And then I'm gonna let one of the other ladies elaborate on this one. I'm gonna let either one of them, but I wanted to ask that question because um, I think it's more. I hate to say it, but I think it's more women that lack accountability than men. But I'm gonna let one of the other ladies step in and give their thought. But I wanted to throw that question out there. Wait, go ahead. Can you elaborate on that?
Uh, Generally speaking, I say yeah. More of a lack of accountability on women. I think men are expected to conform more to women than women are for men. You know, we're expected to adjust what we like, what we don't like for the sake of your happiness. There's a lot of things that, and we've visited this conversation a couple of times before, but there's a
Mhm.
lot of things that women may do that men may not even tell you, hey, I don't like that, but it's just not worth continuing to go back and forth or trying to force you to change. Some things, a lot of things we accept about women, our partners, even just relatives that are females. And we conform and we adjust, but I think when it comes to women, there's is less likely.
Trey?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no, I hear you.
yeah.
All right, you still hear me? I don't know why it muted.
Yeah, I can.
I can hear you.
I am muted. It showed me I was muted, but like I don't know. No, I agree with you.
Gender. So, Andrea
Oh,
gonna
who
come
who said
over.
that? Yeah, let her come on and
They're coming over. Jazz and my cousin said it too, but Andrea gonna start it off with her
all right.
thought process. Accountability went gender specific because I said I think women lack accountability more than men. And I'm a woman, but I do believe that. And the guys said that they agree. So I want to hear with you.
Yeah, Clay said he agreed. What do you think? Did you hear what Clay said?
Yes, he agreed. We got two guys on the line.
No,
Three.
don't do that. Don't do
We
that.
got
Don't
three
do that.
guys here. Of course, y'all are gonna be team guys.
Nah,
And
nah, he has some real shit to say.
I also think too in the male community, whether y'all believe it or not, we hold each other more accountable than I believe women may do. And I've been in the conversation or these circles where it's majority women and they may say, hey girl, I had an issue with this dude. Let me tell you what he did. And I'm listening to this conversation and it may be 4 or 5 women and that girl, he wrong, you right. And I'm listening like, no, all of y'all are really wrong, but y'all stick together so well that y'all just keep it rolling when really this would be some kind of self-correction or, hey friend, I know how you feel, but he was right about this. But I don't know, there's a sense of just like vulnerability that y'all have that y'all just don't want to just allow to just pour out. I don't know, it's kind of, I don't.
Okay, can I ask you a question? It could, well, I'm just going to make a statement. It could be that it's not necessarily they are siding with her, but they are like minded. They're friends. So they see it like they understand her point of view. So she may have been wrong to you, but because her friends have a similar mindset, they're like egging her on, like, yeah, girl, you're right, because they see things the same way.
Let me stop you right
That's
there.
possible sometimes, but not
Not
all
all
the time.
friends. And
Oh,
I'm not,
don't include me in that shit, cause I'ma let her ass know. Hey, bitch, you're talking crazy.
what were you
For
saying,
sure.
sir?
Go ahead, Clay.
I believe that's the case sometimes, but y'all batting 1,000 at this point. Y'all ain't, I don't know. Women in general, I just don't feel like when you know your friend is wrong, they done did something wrong. It's okay to let them know she wrong. Like, but I don't feel like y'all do that as much as men do. At least let each other know, hey, you was wrong about that, man. Like you might want to go fix that, or you need to do that a little different. I don't really hear that too much from women in those circles. When I'm present in those circles, I don't really hear too much of that from
So yeah, that just goes to, confirm when they have a like mindset, that's not something that you will see.
But dudes
But
have a like, but dudes be having a like mindset too, and they still kind of be like, "Hey man, you messing up." You know what I mean? Like they'd be more likely to say that, instead of like, I think maybe it's a comforting thing or something like that. But women, you might come to her about something and she want to make you feel better, and like, but let's say like it was me and Clay, he might be like, "Hey, yeah, I know where you feeling, but hey man, you messed up." Like you were right on this part, you were right on that part. We don't like go to, we're not conditioned because it's a conditioning thing. We're not conditioned to we're conditioned to try to fix a problem as men. We're not conditioned to make each other feel better per se. You know what I
it. Right.
mean? So
Versus
we,
y'all
when,
justifying the issue.
yeah, when we come to each other, it's, hey man, I got a problem. I need a solution. And the solution might not be what I want to hear, but he gonna tell it to me anyway. But women look at like they come to other women a lot of times and they just want to vent and they just want somebody to listen. And so like, cause my wife does that with me, but like we instantly jump into like, oh well, you venting this to me, I'm gonna try to solve it. So I think it's just we conditioned a little differently. So I think on certain things, men do hold each other like more accountable than women do.
because like all the women in my life, they're vocal. Me and my sister go back and forth all the time. We see things very differently, and that's one of the reasons why we butt heads a lot, because we have very different point of views. But I feel like, and my sister, she gets so mad at me because I love to play devil's advocate. I'm like, okay, let's see it from this person's point of view. I am very open minded when it comes to pretty much everything. Like I always try to see, the other person's point of view.
Hmm.
But anyway, what I wanted to say about accountability was that accountability is accepting responsibility, and a lot of times, a lot of people can't do that. So I'm not going to say that it's a matter of people not being able to accept accountability. To do that, you would have to admit fault. But if you don't realize that you're wrong in something, you can't take accountability. Kiki's issue, I don't know why it was so hard for her to say it. She wants people to see things again from her point of view. So she struggled a lot because what happened?
I think naturally we all want people to agree with us though.
And that yeah, see, that's wrong. We want people to agree. I think we want people to understand us. It's not about like I don't need anybody to be in agreement with me, but I want you to see where I'm coming from. Me and Key just had like a disagreement about freaking dog food, and I just wanted her to see like my point of view because I heard what she was saying and I understood it.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I Yeah, man. Like, no, I 100% agree. You gotta like I said, because all this ties back into like relationships, and you gotta be able to take responsibility for what you did wrong. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna do a lot wrong. Sometimes you may not mean to, like there's a lot of reasons, but we all gonna do wrong, but you gotta like take accountability,
And that's hard to do because you know how they say it's like three sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth.
But sometimes one person's side might align closer to the truth than the other. You know what I mean? So like sometimes there ain't no two sides. Sometimes you were just wrong. You know what I mean? Like I had to eat that, but like I get it is hard, but anything worth doing is hard, homie. Like if you gonna grow and you want like, cause everybody say they want this great relationship. Everybody say they want this marriage to last forever. But then when you come to say you need to take these steps to get there, it's, oh man, that's hard. And it's just like, okay, do you really want that relationship then? Or do like, it's like, somebody play football and they're like, man, I really want to win a Super Bowl. And you just like, nah, man, you gonna really have to practice, read your playbook, eat right, get doing the gym, do everything you need to do in the gym. And they're like, man, that's hard. It's just like, well, I mean, if you don't want to win a Super Bowl,
It's like
just say
me
that.
trying to unbig my back and I go to the gym and my hair swings. So I'm like, I'm over it.
It's hard though, but I mean, like, but getting healthy is hard. I need to do it too. You know what I mean? We as black people, we got all types of health issues. Like that's a different episode. But like, um, it is hard. But like I said, anything that's worth doing is hard. You know what I mean? And it's like I tell people this all the time. Like it's like for me to, because everybody asks, like just like your sister asked, like, how you married for so long? That was a lot of work. 17 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we've been there's a lot of work. It's like, there's just a lot that come into it. It was a lot of like really rough times. There was a lot of like it could have went either way, you know what I mean? Like if we didn't work for it or we didn't, come to the table and say, you know what, yeah, I was wrong for this or I was wrong for that, or take accountability, like we said. Like if I was that type of person, we would have been divorced after 17 months. You know what I mean? But it's just it's 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 important. You know what I mean? It's the foundation of having a long relationship. Of being a step but not just even having a long relationship, just like in my opinion, being a functional person. You know what I mean? Or having any type of relationship is being able to step outside your frame of reference and see things from other people, be able to listen to them, be able to take accountability whenever you did something wrong. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
partially
And
agree with that. I'm gonna say, me personally, I don't feel like I have too much of an issue taking accountability. But one thing I've learned is that I'm practicing is even when I know I'm wrong, I'm at the point to where I may not even say nothing about it. Like I'm not. I feel like when you are a person that doesn't really have any issue saying, "Hey, I apologize," or "You know what, you were right, I was wrong," you develop a habit of
mhm,
that. People are used to you being able to take accountability. They expect it to a
mhm,
point where I know he gonna admit he wrong, but I ain't never gotta admit that I'm wrong. So when I deal with certain
mhm,
people, even if I was wrong, I'm not gonna say that, you were right, but I'm not gonna tell you I was wrong, because if I continue to do that, you're never gonna be able to accept it on your end. You know what I'm saying? So
mhm.
it's gotta go both ways for sure. Because I've had those
Yeah, exactly. 100.
and not even just romantic relationships, but just people in general where I can easily say, hey, you know what,
Mhm,
I'm wrong about that. And then when it, becomes their turn to say they just can't do it. They remember last time you said you did, yeah, I was wrong last time,
mhm.
but this time is your time. You're gonna keep talking about the last time I was wrong. So I'm at a point now where if you're not taking accountability, then neither am I, and we might just not have it with each other. Because you become an enabler at that point. You just become an, so it can't always be the accountable person's fault.
Yeah, like, and especially because most situations isn't like one person is wrong and one person's right. It's like a lot of times it's both of y'all did something wrong in the situation. And then like just like you said, if that other person can't take accountability for their part, it's only gonna go halfway. It's like to solving the situation. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's like, I might approach my wife with something and I could be like, you know what? I could have said that better. Like I always like what I learned, lead with what I do. If I'm going to come to the situation and try to repair it, I got to lead with what I did wrong and not point fingers like beginning. I got to say, hey, you know what? I could have said this better. I could have, you know what, I could have came at you better. I was a little upset, but I feel I was right in why I was upset. And here are my reasons why I was upset. And blah, blah, blah. And then she can, you know, and then a lot of times we mend the situation, but you can't practice that with everybody. You right. Like it's only because not everybody has that skill set. So you
Okay.
can't really.
So based off what you and Quay just shared, I'm gonna bow out gracefully because you guys both just proved my point. For me, accountability is accepting and understanding your part in whatever it is. And both of you guys just agreed with what I said. So I'm gonna let the next lady come on, whoever that may
Yeah.
be. Peace.
I'm gonna ask the question, and then I'm gonna let one of the ladies elaborate on it. Because I had a little list of questions in regards to accountability, right?
Hmm.
So here's the question: when something goes wrong in your life, right? What's your first reaction? Are you looking at the role that you played in that situation? Or are you just looking at what the other person did and you're responding to it? When something goes wrong in your life, what's your first reaction? Looking at the role that you played that this situation is currently in? Or are you looking at the blame of the other person because of the situation that's taking place? So are you looking at yourself like, what could I have done wrong? Or are you immediately going into the whys behind the situation because you feel like somebody else did something wrong? Specifically, like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would like to say it's the first one, but more often than not, it's the latter. You know, I'm not even gonna sit here in front. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Often a lot, I will get upset and start looking at what the other person's doing. You know, that's a big flaw in in you know, maybe my thought process sometimes. But like I said, I'm really passionate too about things that I care about, and so you know, it comes out, and my first thing is to really like look at the other person. Is you did this and you did that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Yeah, that's me too. That's me too.
I have.
So Jazz gonna come over and she's gonna elaborate on it
Oh,
with you guys.
no, 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 no,
What'd you
no,
say?
ain't no- Kiki, I have a
What's up?
question.
I have.
When you have somebody you're dealing with, do you look at them as your equal?
I don't think she heard me.
Elaborate. What you mean?
Not you,
She wanted
Kiki.
Kiki.
Oh, Kiki, they had a question for you.
Hey, Ebony, you got a lot of background.
Oh, here I go. Here I go. Okay, so what was the question? I'm sorry, Evelyn.
When you deal with somebody, do you look at them as your equal?
Probably not, because we're not the same. So I can't look at somebody as my equal because we're not the same. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not understanding the question, but I don't look at the person as they're my equal because the way you lived a different life than me. I grew up differently than you. I look at things, my views are different. So you're not my equal because I may feel like where I'm at in life, what I'm doing with life, how I was raised was the right way. I may see the way you was raised was a little bit different. I don't understand something I've never been through. So I don't look at them as my equal per se. But I respect them as a person. And I chose them just like they chose me. So I had to think a little bit highly of you for you to even be in my life to that in that comparison. I think very highly of myself.
Let me ask.
Okay.
Right, Clay?
So,
Mhm.
100 pounds of feathers and 100 pound of bricks. They weigh the same, right? They
They do.
different.
But they're not equal.
Design different, but they're equal. They both weigh 100.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, as a male and a female, what makes their roles differently? Like, as far as a male and a female, the same way. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, when Mother's
Mhm.
Day comes up, Father's Day comes up, and then everybody look at Mother's Day like, oh, the male's supposed to do everything under the sun. But when Father's Day comes up, they don't feel the same exact type of way. It's like you supposed to give the exact same energy. Even when it comes to down to Valentine's Day, where that female be like, I want this and that. Guess what? That dude also wants the same exact thing. I feel like everybody should be equal. This ain't 1950s, 1940s no more.
I agree. But I think that it's just depending on the effort that the person put in. So I do the same things, right? So if I'm with a person, and I'm not even gonna say if, when I'm with a person, I reciprocate. And I think I spoke on this last week. I reciprocate a lot. So one thing I do understand is that a man's 50% is a woman's 100%. Women are naturally nurturers.
Mhm.
Women are naturally givers. We want to take care of our man in every aspect. So when a man shows up with his 100%, his 100% is 200% for a woman. So yeah, for sure. I'm Valentine's Day, he get
Yeah,
gifts just
yeah,
like I get gifts.
yeah. I
Birthdays,
get it's like I get that part. But if a male falls
mhm.
off where they lose their job or whatever the hell the case may be, will that female be able to pick up all the pieces to take care of that dude? And y'all give the same energy. That's the part of being a partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for me, yes, for sure. Because I handle about $3,500 worth of bills by myself every month anyway. So if I'm with somebody and they
It,
lose
it,
their job,
it's not all
I
about money.
got
It's not all about money, sweetheart.
what else? But you said if they lose their job. So when we talk about job, I associate job with income.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
So if
still,
you're just
it's
saying like if they lose
more
their
than that.
job and their mental space is not good, huh? Now
You
if their
talking to a
mental
whole
space not good, I'm gonna support that too because I understand loss, huh?
sweetheart. You talking to a whole person that
They
who
keep
has
saying
who
no.
owns a whole business and everything. I'm just sitting there saying, if your dude was to fall off, would you actually be able to take care of them until they get on their feet as a partner to, help
Yeah,
them
but you
until they
talking
get
about
back?
money. So what do you mean by take care of?
Not take care of
In what
like
in what capacity? Because you said it wasn't all about money.
the tend to the bills and everything else.
Well, we was already building the foundation, so I can keep it going for sure. The foundation was already being built. It's just a pause because his income is not coming in. Because when you said, "Am I able to take care
Yeah,
of it?" And you said that
yeah,
you have
yeah, yeah,
businesses and all the things
yeah.
under the sun, and that's great.
If his
That you're
finances not
definitely
coming
able
in,
to
that's what
take
you're
care
for.
of it, but for how long?
If he fucked up, that's what you're for.
What's the foundation? I don't need anybody to bring it. The table already set. The table set. Yeah, the table set already. Like I already got the table. So if anything he lose, he ain't gonna lack because I already got it going. I got it. So, and I have been in a situation like that. I was. It's just he was a different type of man. So he was out without a job for what, maybe 60 days. In those 60 days, I was able to handle everything because I mean I handle things anyway.
Yeah, yeah. But when you dealing with a
Get
dude,
back.
all, you dealing with a dude, and you always bragging about money. You gonna end up getting a wrong dude. Not no offense, but you gonna end up getting a dude that's gonna want you to take care of them.
You said when you do what to do, I'm sorry.
I said, no offense. I said when you're sitting there saying when you're always talking about money, you're gonna fuck around and get one of these fuck ass niggas out here that's gonna always be dealing with money or whatever, and they're gonna be like, oh, she always talking about money. They're gonna expect you to take care of them. And then when
Oh
you
no,
get that type of
I
dude,
don't deal with those kind of guys. I don't deal with guys that don't have it. That wouldn't be a thing for me. I would never,
yeah, but you also
ever.
sat there and said you
It's not
have
a
no
thing for me.
problem.
We was off topic, man.
Yeah, that definitely was. It seemed a little bit personal, but it's okay.
Yeah, let's get back.
Let's get back
I'm gonna
into it.
I'm
You
gonna
gotta
Trey
it's girl.
I'm gonna Trey I did that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say in front. I did that. Um I mean, yeah. Hey, yeah, man.
Let's just do it all off did for sure.
What were we even talking about before?
Something about accountability and
No,
I
your
don't know
question. You
what
had your
happened.
question before you put Jazz on.
Oh yeah, my question. Yeah.
We can edit that out. We can edit that out, dude.
Okay.
I think on some level, I get where they were trying to say, but it wasn't really relevant to the conversation.
It wasn't. That was last week's conversation.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said that's what he said. He don't understand why she went there. Did they take her? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She.
I felt like, dude, I tried to be like, let's get off
Some
this
guys say he was
topic,
because
but
he was trying to let her get her point, but then it was like also it's off subject. We talking about, and then you saying money. Can you take her? It's personal. Nobody say it seems like it's a personal attack, but I already said
yeah.
I don't deal with men that don't have no money. I don't deal with men who financially struggling. I don't. So that's not my story. I can't speak on
All
it.
right.
Okay, let's get back on. Let's get back on subject. So the question I had was, when something goes wrong in life, what's your first reaction? Are you looking at the role in it, or are you looking at what everybody else did?
All right, let's get Jazz back up on there.
Dad, come on, Jay. I'm sorry, Jay.
I like Jazz. Jazz is solid as fuck. I like Jazz. What up, Jazz?
Honey,
All right, so how are you doing tonight?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Always, always. So, according to the question, do you when some go down, do you take accountability, or what's your first reaction? You blame the other person, or you look externally, or you look internally?
So I'm a work in progress, right? So, so back in the day, it's that tight in my chest. You done cross me. I'm in there. Hey, what's happening? I thought this was it. I'm in your ass. Point blank period. Can I
Yeah,
say, can I say that?
yeah.
But
We can blank it out. It's cool.
me today, I'm working on myself. So I'm
Hmm.
working on accountability, if that makes sense. I'm looking at how to see it from a different perspective. I'm working on not letting that tightness in my chest make me show out. You know?
Hmm.
So that younger me, yes, 37-year-old me, I need to know the whole picture. I need to know why.
Hmm.
Because if I let you get enough of my time, that means I sink something in the situation, be it a friend, be it a mate, even being it just something I know. Like, so if I give you that much of a time and I invest into it, even if it's just a moment and I'm really intrigued with it, hey, I want to know it all the way around, especially if I have to be accountable. And I'm always going to be accountable to an extent because that's a work in progress, right? So
Hmm.
it's like, I'm learning it. It's one of those things. But I'm learning.
Yeah, yeah. Straight up, I 100% agree. It's like it. It's all a journey. You know what I mean? Like we all trying to get there, and and there, whatever we think there is, the reality is we never gonna get there. We just always gonna be in that journey. We can just always get better. We never gonna be perfect. You know.
Unless we look into
That's all we
ourselves,
gonna
we're not going to be perfect, but we can get to the point where we are accountable within ourselves.
do. Yeah.
Because behind you, accountability comes with karma.
Hmm.
So if I'm not accountable, some way, somehow, I'm gonna have to see what happened in that situation, especially if it was significant.
Hmm.
And I think every situation is significant at this point in time in our life. We're not just
Yeah.
going through things just to be going through things. We're going through
Yeah.
things to learn lessons.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a good way of life.
True story.
It's 100%. My bad, Clay. Go ahead.
Nah, I was agreeing with Jazz. We're not just going through things in life just to be going through them. Everything at this point should be
Hmm.
for a reason. Not too much is just for fun or just casually anymore. A lot of this stuff got substance behind.
Hmm. Exactly. I just, you know, like I said it before, I didn't elaborate much, but I think too much in like how I don't know if you ever read this book. It's called The ISIS Papers by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. But she basically was just saying that it was a lot of there's a lot of just immaturity. For a lot of reasons, there's a lot of immaturity in our community. And that's what stops us from, because that's what a lot of it is based off of, like taking accountability and all that is just it's a
And just
maturity
stop it
thing.
at that age. Thing I used to always say, like, if I got a certain age, I wouldn't think a certain way or you get
Hmm.
stuck thinking that certain type of way. So
Hmm.
I don't want to ever get stuck just thinking a certain type of way because as we grow, things change. That
Hmm.
comes with kids, that comes with being an adult, that comes with finances, that comes with going to the next level. Like everything changes. So the accountability changes also because now we have to be even more accountable because we went through lessons and we keep going through those same lessons, making those same mistakes. How are we
Hmm.
accountable? We're gonna keep
You're
taking
not.
it till we pass it. Point blank period.
You're not. You're not. And like, you know, you brought up something right now and it made me, it just, I don't know, it took me on like a little bit of a tangent, but like, like we talked about stepping out of your frame of reference. And like, I may, I think about that with my kids. You know what I mean? Because it's like, sometimes I think like, what type of parent did I need? Or what did I need from my parents that I didn't get? And a lot of it was, I wished my, like, I could have been more open with my parents. You know what I mean? Like if I like sometimes I got in trouble, but I just had messed up. Like I just did something stupid. I wish I could have came to him, but I was so scared of getting punished that I would lie to him. But like I really
But
wish like
mind you,
we had that space.
that's somebody who had a parent. But what if you wish your parent was there to give that discipline? You feel what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
most of us, especially if you're in Atlanta and you're from the city and you're from the West Side, hey, you didn't have those parents in the household. You had your grandma and your auntie. So
Hmm.
hey, their discipline was different because they was older. So we could
Hmm.
play a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? So we wanted that discipline in the house to say, hey, you don't need to be doing it because. So now us as parents, we're like, hey, we ain't even that old. We was just in your shoes, so to speak. So
Hmm.
it's like, hey,
Yeah.
let's so
But I was thinking like that space to just say I messed up gives people room to take accountability because if they fear your response, then they might continue to defend themselves. They might continue to go down some other rabbit hole. But if they feel they can come to you and be completely honest about a situation, that gives them a little bit more space to be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I was wrong, or to think through their situation a lot of times because it's part of it relies off your reaction to it. Like if I was the type of dude to fly off the handle about every little thing with my wife, then yeah, of course she wouldn't come to me, or of course she would defend herself or something like that, like
that
real
also
hard.
comes with maturity though. Because mind you,
Hmm.
back in the day, you might have would have flew off the handle, but you're a little older now, so you know how to look at your wife and look at her habits and know what she's doing and be attentive to her needs or
Hmm.
just knows when she's sad or when she's happy or when something's aggravating her that's outside of the norm. That's not you. So you've learned over the years her mannerism and things, and it takes the time of being intentional to know what's really going on and not just being focused on
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, and I try to and I think it's important to teach like the younger men to learn from my mistakes and to learn younger than I learned. Because it took me a little long to learn a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? And say, nah, you don't have to take the same amount of time. I can teach you. You can be a step further, but just tell them like, hey man, you're not. Like I said, it's not always about being right. It's about getting it right. You know what I mean? Like it's about getting the right answer, not having the right answer sometimes. And sometimes you just made a mistake. Sometimes you just did something stupid. Admit it. You know what I mean? And like I said, but going back to what something Clay said, because I want to know what you think. Like, do you think women have like a harder time taking accountability with each other?
Yeah. I vocalize that part. I definitely
You hear me, or
noticed some
did you hear me?
Can you hear me?
No, I was asking Jazz. My bad, Clay.
Oh, go ahead.
You were
I want
asking
to see what
me.
Jazz. Yeah, I was asking you. Do you think women have a harder time being accountable with each other?
I think it depends on the maturity level. Again, I think when we were younger,
Generally speaking, I guess. Generally speaking.
but generally, I've learned that, well, in my situations, men have been more accountable than I have because I don't apologize. I'm learning to apologize, but I'm the person that's like, hey, I already kind of told you that. And then if I'm wrong, kind of easing out of it. And then I'm like, okay, 2 or 3 days later, you were right. So I'm trying to learn how to do it in the moment compared to easing out of it and coming back into it.
I appreciate that, Jazz. That's a characteristic of, I ain't gonna say a lot of women, but it's common to where
But mind you, I'm used to handling certain stuff or being a boss or being independent because I had to. So I'm in a situation, I'm like, hey. And then
The other girl,
I'm gonna come
she
back to you. I'm gonna see if you want to.
it's much it's much easier to ask, hey baby, do you want something to eat versus just saying, you know what, baby, I was wrong, you was right. They gonna want to feed you now. They want to lay up with you. Hey, you want to watch a movie? Hey, I found this spot. I have to just tell you what's wrong. You ain't gotta do my
Let me give you a little massage. Let me get you this thing.
here. I promise you. And we gonna take it. We gonna accept whatever you can give. Me and we used to.
For clear.
We won't. Okay, she made me a plate. That's her way of apologizing. Women, that don't really work for y'all. Y'all want to hear it. Y'all want us to feel it to where y'all it make y'all feel better about yourself. But that's I appreciate
But
it.
you know something, I think that comes from trauma of a young age of not having that father figure around because I lacked that father. So I didn't hear that, you know what I'm saying, that I apologize. I'm sorry, baby, or come here, sweetheart. So as an adult, it's kind of like, yo, baby me a little because I'm a baby you. If you mind, I'm a baby you. So baby me a little. I need that little therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up. But you even admitting that you had those problems, that's accountability right there though.
It took time though to even look at it like I did lack that dad or I did lack that emotion. And if you think about it, a lot of women do lack their dad. Either they're not existent, non-existent, they may be existent and not existent, and then they may have that one like Ronnie who has a dad that loves on her. So
Hmm. I, I think, like, it's gonna sound weird a little bit, but I think a little bit of it is men's fault. Why like women lack accountability. Now I'll say this, like, let me give you an example. Like within my friend group when we were younger, there was this girl who wanted to hang who hung with us all the time, right? She was always doing stuff with us. And don't get me wrong, she was fine. And like all the dudes wanted to get with her, but she was a terrible human being. Like I'm not gonna say like some of the stuff she said, but she was terrible. And she would do like some of the like she would treat people bad, but just everybody kind of like dealt with it because they were trying to sleep with her. And then one time she almost like legitimately got me and one of my homeboys shot. And I brought it up to him and I'm just like, dog, she knows what she's doing. Like long story short, she said something to some dude because she knew my homeboy would come defend her. And then, oh, now I'm gonna have to back my homeboy up. You know what I mean? And so like when we were driving home, I was like, dog, she does this and you just let her get away with it because you want to sleep with her. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dog, like, so of course, like later on down the road, she gonna learn. I don't have to take accountability for something like, I'm like, look, I'm good looking. I
it's
don't have
gonna
to take
teach it out
accountability.
down the road. It always teaches you can't run.
I think it do, but I was like, if we don't hold her accountable as men, how can we expect these women to be accountable to nothing? You know what I mean?
I'm saying you end up enabling the person. You enable
Mm-hmm.
them when you continue to do those. In those situations, I don't even
I thought she was
want no part of it. Even if I'm wrong, I'm out of there.
What happened, Quay? Even if you're wrong, what?
Even if I'm wrong, like I was saying earlier, like some stuff I just won't even mention. Like again, because I've been in those positions where it's just constantly I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and when it's your time to show up, it's kind of like no, you can't take accountability for it, and I don't really be like. I think he fell out. The yeah, and hopefully he come on in time. Earlier, when something goes wrong, are you blaming the other person or are you are you
Okay.
looking within? And
Right.
I, I self-evaluated myself years ago. Well, I ain't gonna say years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me being able to take accountability is I have a control issue, and not when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to people. I don't want to control nobody, but when it comes to me, what's going on around me, my dynamic, my space,
That's me.
myself, I like to be in control. So when
Me
something
too,
goes,
cousin.
I evaluate it and I take accountability for it because how did I even let you get that close to me? How did I even end?
Absolutely.
And but the reality is, and I had to learn to stop doing it. Sometimes stuff is gonna happen to you that's not your fault. But when you so used to
Mm-hmm.
being in control, I'm always be like, nah, I can't. This. Sometimes some people gonna cross you. Sometimes wrong place, wrong time. These things can happen. But I have a control issue. If there's something going on around, me, like I even end up over here with you. Like I'm looking at me constantly because I gotta be in control of all of this. And the reality is, you ain't. I had to learn 4 or 5 years ago. You ain't always in control of what's
I'm like,
going around you. But that's how I've
oh,
always
me.
been. So that ties into accountability too. I take accountability so much because
Absolutely.
control issue. I gotta be in control of me, my space, and what's going on around me. And I can't.
And so that's what my therapist always tell me too. Like when I used to hear the word control, I associate that with controlling people. And I used to
Mm-hmm.
say, well, I don't have control issues because I don't care about what they do. And she was like, no. you have a sense of control when it has something to do with you.
Absolutely.
So anything that you're involved in and that can affect you directly, you want to control that narrative at any capacity. And I'm like, damn, you're right. So that is the way I operate. If it's going to affect me in any kind of way, no matter how small or big, I mm-mm, I can't because like you just said, how did I get myself here? Because here's the thing. I'm not one of those people that say I didn't know, I didn't see it, I didn't see that coming. I see it, but I just gotta see anyway. So I'm a risk
Mhm.
taker. So I just gotta see. I see the bullshit. I see the lack of. I see all those things. But in my mind, I'm like, but let me just see though. And then I also understand that I attract a certain type of person. So they may have it together in one area of their life, but another area they don't. So for me, it's like an assignment, right? So I have to realize that they're not my assignment, but in that moment, I feel like I can fix this. I see what's going on. I understand what's going on. But then when it's happening in real time, it's like, whoa, 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 because I don't have control over that situation and it's affecting me. And I need to control anything that's going to have a direct effect on me. If it don't, it doesn't matter. Like when I give my opinions, like we were talking about accountability, and when we talking to our friends or families about what's going on, when I give my opinion, I'm passionate about it for sure. But once I reevaluate the conversation and realize that doesn't have a direct effect on me, why am I so upset about how they want to live their lives? I take accountability in that area. But when it has something to do with me, because I feel like the
Mhm.
accountability is saying, I knew that this was going to be like this, but I needed to try it anyway. But this is the result anyway. I already knew the result. And so now, how did I get here? Why did I get here? Why did I do this? But I have to take my L, right? Because I knew better. I just didn't do better.
Let me ask you a question. When you come to when it come to dating somebody, are these issues that you because you said like he might have it together in one area but not in another, an area where you say he don't have it together, is that necessarily something you need to fix?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I say this, like sometimes we get an
So I'm learning
idea
that I
of
can't fix it. But that's something that I feel like I need to fix.
but like because my thing is like I would have to it's more than what we gonna get in on a within an hour, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But
Right?
like I guess my question is like it seems like when I listen to a lot of people nowadays as singles, like they got this idea of this mate in their head and they won't accept nothing less without realizing like, hey, that dude don't exist or that woman don't exist. That's an idea you made up in your head, and you have to deal with the reality is that most of us are kind of messy in a way. It's just you got to decide whose
You
mess you
breaking
gonna
up.
tolerate. But I'm saying you just got to decide whose mess you tolerate. You know what I mean?
You breaking up, son guy. Yeah, your phone was breaking up, but I think I got the
Yeah,
gist of
I
it.
got a phone
And you're
call. I
right.
got a
So
phone
for
call.
me, I do understand. So I don't have his thing dropped off. But I'm gonna elaborate on what he said. He'll come back and I'll just go back to it. But I don't have an unrealistic expectation. So I don't think that the expectations or the standards that I have for myself when I'm dating, I don't think they're unrealistic, right? It's just the basic fundamentals of what an adult should have and what they should have already established. So when I meet guys and I'm getting to know them and we're in the talking phases or whatever, when they tell me, "Oh, I'm an aspiring rapper," well, you're 42 years old and your rap career haven't kicked off. So what else is you doing besides rapping? So I'm not judging you because I get it. That's your craft and you feel like you're really good at it, right? But outside of that, are you just chasing a dream? Because that's a dream. Because it's not manifest. It hasn't manifest, right? So I don't think my standards are too high. I just think that
That's too old.
absolutely. Mm-hmm. They're right. Yeah, absolutely. Some of that little thing just went out. Oh, there you go. So I was answering your question. So my answer to your question was, So I don't think my standards are too high. I don't think that I have unrealistic expectations of people when I'm dating. But I do believe that because my standards are just the basic fundamentals of an adult. I don't have oh, you got to make this amount of money, all this. No, but you have to be able to, the basic fundamentals. So it's not all about finances. It's, can you lead me spiritually? When days when I just don't have nothing in me, can you show up in those areas? Days when I can't figure it out and I just need you to just take the lead. Can you lead me properly? Those are things that's important to me. I look at those things. If you don't possess those things, I have to move accordingly. But my standards are not crazy. I just feel like a lot of times when men are not where they want to be in life, whatever that looks like, they say, oh, your standards, or you need to adjust them. I don't have
True.
unrealistic standards. I don't have a whole list, a laundry list of what a man looks like, because I understand that people go through seasons in life. But the basic fundamentals, I don't understand a man who said, I'm 42 years old, I want to be a rapper. Okay, cool, great, awesome. But what are you doing before the rap career jump off? Because you're 42 and it hasn't jumped off yet. So what else do you have in place? And if you say, "Oh, I'm just out here grinding," that's not for me. But it's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay because there are some women who are gonna say, "You're 42. You might get it when you're 45." That's not gonna work for me. But I'm cool with you doing the rap thing because that's your passion and you believe in yourself, and I'm gonna believe in you too. But what else are you doing? So it's not. I don't think that I have an unrealistic expectation, or my standards are just crazy.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like I was just
Okay.
saying like I was meaning it more like I don't think your standards are unrealistic, but it's just like I think when it come down to we expect, it seemed like when a lot of people say that they expect everybody to have it all together, and it's just like nah, we don't. Like
That's not
even when my
reality
wife
now.
got married, like yeah, we don't. I didn't have it all together. Neither did she. You know what I mean?
Right.
We just kind of got it together. You know what I mean? But like
Because you was aligned. So y'all
yeah,
had an idea in the mind and y'all knew where y'all wanted to go. So yeah, nobody has it all together though. No,
yeah,
no matter
yeah.
how
My
far
bad.
you
But
are in
yes,
life or what you have accomplished, you always want more. So that means you don't have it all together because you wouldn't be wanting more, or you wouldn't be trying to progress in
yeah.
life if you had it all together. So yeah, I know nobody has it all together for sure. But you have to
Right,
get with somebody that you align with.
right.
And that goes back to dating, when you're dating or being in a relationship with somebody that you're not equally yoked with. Those are
Hmm.
conversations you need to have in the beginning. So we can go ahead and cut that out. If we realize you want one thing and I want one and it's not aligned, why are we wasting time? Because I'm not in the convincing business
Hmm.
and you not either. You shouldn't be. So yeah.
You 100%. It's. I think relationships are a little bit harder than people think. You know what I mean? Like, especially being married for 17 years, it just seems like people. I don't know. Like, people can't separate like attraction and like people just look at like, hey, I like this person. I think they're attractive, so I think I could be with them. And I'm like, yeah, theoretically, but it takes a lot more to be with them than just being attracted to them. You know, especially
Absolutely.
dudes. Dudes think a little too much. Like, you know, with their dicks. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. But like,
Mhm.
it's like people just don't understand. Like, man, like you know, I had to check one of my or like this younger dude who I know, like he went on this date with this girl and like he went on a couple dates and he was just like, oh, like she just like, oh, I want to be friends, and then like he was all sad. And he was just like, man, I really liked her. And I was like, no, you didn't. Like, no, you didn't. You didn't really like her, bro. You barely knew her. You knew her for like 5
Yeah.
months, bro.
Sure.
What you know about her? Why
Mm-hmm.
you acting like you lost the one? Like this wasn't the one that got away and you was just never gonna find love again, my dude. Like you had a couple dates. Was it fun? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right then. Sound like a win to me, homie. Like, move on, Vaughn, get
Move
you.
on
That
for
was your
sure.
first date. Get to the second. Get to the second person. You know, like, and
Exactly.
that's what it is. But like, he just thought he really liked this girl. She was cute. She was attractive. She was all that, and just, oh, I really liked her. And it's like, nah, it's deeper than that, homie. It's like you didn't know nothing about her to like her. You know. And so I just think it's so much harder than people like I don't know. I just when I see people, it's just like it don't seem like they really. I don't think most people really want a relationship. I think they want the idea of the relationship they made up
Absolutely.
in their head, and not the actual relationship. You know? It's like when a little kid
I'll
get
be
a
willing to do
puppy.
the work.
Yeah, the little
And why
kid
you
want the
speak
cute
on
little
that,
puppy.
Clay? Can you speak on that because I know you're in a new relationship?
Yeah, I don't agree with the like part though. I ain't gonna lie to you. And it all depends on what like means to you. You said he knew her for
Mhm.
like 5 months.
Yeah.
Well, so why couldn't he like her in 5 months?
Um.
Now let me say this too.
I guess I was more along the lines. Yeah, that's a bad way of saying it. I guess I was more along the lines of like you couldn't have liked her that much that you're that tore up over it. You know what I mean? Because in 5 months, like you can't know somebody that deeply to like really deeply feel or like them. You're just sort of like, he was beating himself up, but like he shouldn't have. It's just like, hey, bro, you barely knew this girl. You could have known her for another 5 months and decided, like, oh man, I can't stand this person. You know what I mean? Like you could have, like, and so that's more what I was meaning.
I don't know though, man. I'm with him on that. You know, when you and I'm gonna even just say 5 months. You said 5 months. If you invest
Yeah.
into somebody, now if their relationship or their connection was completely surface level, then I get it. But if he's been spending 5 months with her, he's been laid up with her, he's been
Oh no, not spending 5 months with her. He only went on 2 dates with her. He knew her from class.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's why I was mean you only knew her for 5 months. Like you knew her for 5 months. You see her in class a couple days a week, and then you finally asked her out at the end of the class, and she said yeah. And then they went on 2 dates, and then she was just like, you know what? I just want to be friends, And he was just all broken up, like that's
Oh,
what.
I understand liking her. Now the torn up part is a bit, up in the air, but I understand liking her. Like you can go on a date with somebody one time and be like, I like what I do know about this person. You know what I'm saying? Now for
Yeah.
me, like is a light switch. I can like you today, but if
Yeah.
you do something tomorrow I
You can
don't
turn
like,
it
then
off.
the lights is out and I'm gonna go to the next room. So
Hmm.
that's for me what like means. So it's nothing to I can regulate my feelings in the space of like. I ain't got really
Hmm.
like I wish that would have worked out, but I ain't gonna beat myself up like you say, you know what I'm saying? Especially if it's surface level one date or yeah, I really wanted to continue to get to know her, but ain't nothing wrong with like it. You can like somebody on after one date, you can like somebody after 30 minutes. It's all about the context and the substance of the conversation, the person. Obviously
Hmm.
there's that physical attraction too, but like is it should be a like it's for me it's a light switch. So I like
Yeah.
you
I
now.
mean, and you and
You
you
might not like
you right. No, you're right. I don't disagree because I knew my wife was the one after 6 months so dating. So like, but like, what I was trying to re-gear him was is just like on some level, like I was more trying to re-gear him, like bring a different perspective to it, like on some level, bro. Like don't beat yourself up a little too much on it. You, you really just didn't know that much about her
Yeah, there
to
wasn't enough
really be like
information
you.
at that point.
Yeah,
but
like
here's the
to
thing.
be.
I don't think it was. I don't think he really beat himself up about it. I think it was his ego. His ego was for sure.
He really desired to have.
He did. But it's egotistical. Even if he desired it, it was his ego. She gave
Mhm.
him a chance. He saw her. She gave him a chance. She went on 2 dates. She was able to identify, yeah, he's not the one, and I'm not going to continue this on. He couldn't
Mhm.
understand the whys.
Why,
So his
why
ego was
why he
bruised.
can't just have feelings? Why has
Baby, he don't got feelings. How? You took her on 2 dates.
women have fallen in love much quicker than that? So,
Women are
so
different. We're
just
wired different.
relationship
Mhm.
don't work out. Like women are cry after one bad date or he broke. You ain't even know this man like that. But we don't say
Mhm.
it's y'all ego. That's y'all was in y'all feelings. He in his feelings.
Look at my face. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I get it, but I don't know. I think it was an ego thing for him. I just think that he couldn't understand. He's going on 2 dates. 5 months he knew her. He feel like he the man, and he just don't understand why she didn't choose me. Why she said we want to be friends.
Mhm.
I'm trying to pursue her difference. You different, Clay. So you
No,
different.
no, no, I ain't gonna. I'm gonna speak on behalf of me. I think is I'm starting to see a trend in the word ego being tied to men. That's becoming a very default way. It's becoming to a point of where women look. He got an ego. He got for some reason. Or I'm gonna say, women. You want your man to have
Cause
some
you got
sense
nigga.
of
It's okay, Clay.
pride,
Clay.
some sense of ego. But to just say when a man get in his feelings, oh, his ego hurt. No, men got feelings. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could really be hurt by that. So I don't know how you gather from that his ego is bruised because he didn't get the woman. He may have really wanted to be with this woman. There are women
Now play.
you may really want to be with this man. And it just don't work. We never say, oh, your ego hurt because you ain't get him. You really liked him though. Like you really like you really you thought
Oh,
handsome man. You thought he looked like whoever. I don't know, Edith Elba, whoever y'all be wanting. It didn't work out. We never say, oh, your ego hurt. Nah, you really guess you desired that. It just didn't happen. So you was in your feelings. And that may be his case. He just in his feelings. You gotta get.
okay, but he can be in his feelings. But the reality of it is, if she would have entertained it, he would have accepted it for whatever it was until however long. Because guess what? What happened? On the flip side, playing devil's advocate. On the flip side, what if he started realizing things he didn't like about her, and then he cut her off, and now she like, what? I was showing up, I was doing all the things. So come on, men don't do that.
In that scenario, he hurt her ego. Her ego hurt.
It ain't her ego.
Oh,
It's just she was showing up.
You see exactly what I'm saying? He get hurt. It ain't her ego. He get hurt. It's his ego. We gotta stop doing that to men. It's just everything.
We was just talking about accountability. We were just talking about accountability. I'm not hearing none.
If we've been completely
Do that right out the window.
to me that women have more of an ego than men. Y'all really want people in the world to conform to y'all and y'all feelings. And when it don't work that way, y'all get really emotional. And the reality is your ego. It didn't happen.
It's not though, because we show up different. You know what? A prime example. When a woman, let me tell you something. I'm gonna give you a prime example, and we can wrap it up because I know some guys. I know you say you didn't have but an hour.
Yeah, I gotta go to work in the morning.
No, but let me just say this really, really quick. This is gonna wrap it up. We talked about this. Okay, so let's just say, hypothetically speaking, a man meet a woman. Boom. They kick, everything going good. Boom. Women don't date. Men date. Women don't date. So guess what? If you're being consistent with me, you're calling me, texting me, I'm going to put Johnny, Robert, and Tim on the back burner because you're showing up more than him. Even though you still got Janice, Janet, and Kim on your bumper. Women put all their eggs in one basket because you showing me a little bit more attention. So guess what? Women go into girlfriend mode instantly. Quit doing wifely duties, showing up for you, bringing your food, making sure you got something to eat, asking you about your day, planning shit for y'all. She's showing up. You like those things about her, but what her problem is, she only paying attention to you because you showing up for her. But then the moment the man not available for her, she feel away. And you know why she feel away? Because she realized, oh shit, he must be talking to somebody else. And you are, because you have not made it clear that you're dating her exclusively. So now you want to date with Kim, but Tiffany is showing up and she's doing all the right things. So guess what? But a man not doing that. Men don't put their eggs in one basket. Men still continue to date. Women mess up by putting everything in one basket and only focusing on that man. So naturally, yes, her feelings is hurt. It's not her ego, it's her feelings because she made a bad life this choice and put all her eggs in one basket without clarity. And that's why I told y'all last week, I don't go with the flow. I don't like the flow because it don't go
Let me read you something. Let me read you something, Kiki.
Okay.
Let me read you a definition.
Let me hear.
Yeah.
I got this from Clay. Ego. A person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. So that is ego.
And
Everything you just
what they use is he needed to use his ego. So even the word, this is from the internet. This is generically speaking, that word is tied to men, and I don't feel like that's really not right. Like that's really not the case. And then,
everything you just said about that woman.
who do you think go on more dates in a weekend or in a week? Men or women?
Men.
I got 3 men
Women.
on right now that'll take you out to dinner this week. So what are you talking about? Men don't put all their eggs in one basket.
They don't. Because guess what? He asked me on a date, but he also asked 3 women. He asked me, but he asked 3 other women too. So whoever is available, that's who he going with. It wasn't just me. Women just gonna focus on Clay. Because Clay have made me feel wishy gushy inside. No, baby.
That's a lie.
That's not the lie.
That's a lie. We ask y'all when y'all are available. When is your schedule open? We conform to y'all. What y'all got going on? You got a date Thursday. You hanging with your girls Friday. You got brunch on Saturday with some dude you met last weekend. I may get to catch you Saturday night. If not Saturday night, maybe after church on Sunday. Y'all ain't putting y'all eggs in one basket. Y'all booked up.
But who we gonna choose? Who are we choosing?
That's after the fact. That's after you done did process of elimination and narrowed down and evaluated your candidates. Then okay, yeah, this the one I'm gonna go with. But it don't start off that way. I'll be a fool to the woman I just met tonight. I'm the only man she talking to or going on a date with right now. For at least for the next 30 days. I ain't gonna believe it.
Some people.
Some Jazz said some people and deal like that. Jazz like that and LaRonda like that.
I'm not like that.
I ain't
Somebody,
I'm not like that.
oh, it didn't deal with that. Come on.
And you ended it with a good point, though. I didn't even have to chime in.
You didn't have time in.
I didn't have to chime in. He put, hey, yo, it was fun though.
It was definitely fun. So I thank y'all for coming on tonight. I know we had some technical difficulties. We're gonna get it together. Some guys, you know, it's always a good time with us. I just love the fact that we can have a conversation. We can respect each other's space. I love that. I know my cousin, me and him go, outside of this, we go back and forth a lot, like we doing now. And I just think the ladies gonna always show up for me because I be needing that little moral support. I appreciate Easily Sidetrack for allowing me to be on this platform. Ebony, hopefully we can get on the same page at some point because I don't know. I think we be going back and forth. I don't know. We'll figure it out though.
Yeah, definitely.
Love y'all, mean it. Talk to y'all next week. I'll text y'all. Bye.